Hey guys. Hey Devin.
All right.
What are you looking at?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just making weird faces. I don't know. Nothing. Just looking around. There's nothing too special. You have a good Sunday?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty relaxing for the most part.
That's good.
Hey Jane, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Too bad.
Good.
Hey Wendy.
Hi.
All set up?
Yep.
Hey John, how are you?
Hey Dave, I'm fine. How are you?
Too bad.
Good.
Good weekend?
Yes, it's a nice weekend. It was nice weather. Spent most of it outside.
Yeah, that's good. Let's start out with our bright spots. Wendy, bright spot.
I had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the sun. Yep.
Enjoyed the sun.
Enjoyed the sun.
Davin.
Um, I've been playing piano, and that's still fun. Surprised? I don't know. I really like it. So, yeah, that's my bright.
What song are you learning?
It's more like rhythms right now. So
What rhythm are you learning?
I'm kind of like country rhythm, and it's
Yeah.
kind of really hard because I have poor rhythm naturally. So, yeah.
Kendra.
Saturday was so nice, and I clicked over like 20,000 steps. I don't think I've ever done that in a single time, especially after that Heidi workout. So my whole body was just hurting. I think I went to bed at 8:30 that night,
Yeah.
but it was a great day. So looking to do it again, maybe get 25,000 steps.
That's good. John.
I took Friday off and went up to the farm and spent spent the weekend outside, just enjoying the weather. So I had a nice time.
Nice. Jane?
Same as others. The weekend, John and I walked. I played code names online with some friends who were like 12 and 13. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, got some work done. Yeah, it was. We saw John's mom, which was nice. She was on her second floor balcony, and we were on the ground to keep her safe because
Yeah.
she's a lady.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Megan?
So my hangboard is up. So
I saw that.
yeah, so I got to do a hangboard workout yesterday and get out my chalk bag, and yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hmm.
Oh. Taylor's joining us. Taylor, maybe we can see him, maybe not. We'll catch up with him in a second, I guess. My bright spot was I had two things. I watched a thing. So I have this thing with documentaries about narco subs, and then I saw this like narco submarine documentary on Netflix. I was so excited, and it was about these like Russian drug dealer, well, just Russian like kind of bad guys trying to negotiate the sale of like a former communist Russian sub, and it was so amazing. I just appreciate all of that.
Did you ever watch Narcos Mexico?
I'm just into like the concept of like how much work it is to make a submarine, or like, so like they have like the ones like that they like make in like legitimately in like the jungle, and then some guys gotta like suit up and then drive that across the ocean, some piece of crap that they made in the jungle. And like the engineering and the effort is so incredible, like that it blows my mind. I love like all of that. So this one blew my mind because it was like a real war sub, and they were negotiating it, and then basically in the midst of all of that, because it's so crazy and outlandish that like too many people kind of found out about it, and then that was it. But like they were close to making a deal to like buy a Russian sub when like the Communist Party had collapsed, and basically the whole country was for sale. So I thought that was really interesting. And then that's just funny. And then the other thing I got to do was I was pulling out the motorbikes and cleaning them up and getting them ready, anticipating some warmer weather and stuff. So that was nice too. Taylor, bright spot?
The weather's turning around, so it's just going outside is really nice, and then doing early morning runs when it's still a little bit cool. Prime time running weather.
Yeah, I like the cool weather for the runs too. Okay, let's start off. So we're gonna do warm up number 2 today. So jump over to the other screen here. And we've got 30 to 50 jumping jacks to start. After the jumping jacks, 5 dips. Then we've got our 10 windmills, arms up to the sides, and then reaching across and touching the toes. And then back to our 5 dips. From there, 10 toe touch hops. So touch the toes and then hop. And then back to our 5 dips. $30 to $50 straddle hops, lower half of the jumping jack. And then 5 push-ups. $10 to $16 drop lunges. Drop down and stop. And stand.
I ended up doing Heidi yesterday because I missed Saturday.
Yep.
My legs hurt.
Yeah.
For 23
Yeah.
minutes, I feel like that was actually like, it felt really long.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, doing that as a group was probably a lot easier than doing that one solo. Like I kind of did the math on that for people, and we've got our push-ups again, and then 10 to 16 drop squats. And it looked, you know, like people are going to do 4 or 5 rounds, so close to, you know, 100 or more of all of those things. So 100 of anything is gonna kind of get you as far as that goes. 5 more push-ups. And then 30 to 50 mountain climbers to finish here. Awesome. Good job, guys. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're doing kind of some like isometric holds for today. With this like isometric hold, I didn't have a great video of kind of like the full positioning of it. If we need to like if I need to show you again, I'll show you. But basically, we're going to kind of take that split squat position. I'm not going to have my rear foot elevated, but I'm going to try to go into a little bit of a longer stride with that. And then from there, I'm going to sit down into that position, and then we're going to hold the bottom for 30 seconds. Then at the 30-second mark, we're going to switch legs and do the other 30 seconds. And then we're going to take a minute off, and then we're going to go through that six times. So I guess I wrote it down here, but just so literally 6 sets of 1 and 1, split squat, pause for 30 seconds at the bottom, rest for 30 seconds, rear foot on the ground, and then the nice long stride. I think I'll show the movement, but basically as we're doing this, we're going to kind of go down and then hold in that bottom position there, and then from there just sit and hold. Now while we're doing this sit and hold, I don't want to just like survive the position. I want to focus on that front leg kind of pulling back in, and then the back leg pulling towards the front, so that there's some like a little bit more contraction there. Do the first one.
What kind of angle should our front knee be at?
So it should be forward of the knee, but not like that's going to depend a little bit on ankle flexibility. I'm just going to jump down and see if jump in the position I want to show you guys. Like I said, it's a little bit different than the demo. You can see the lower half. So you'll see like knee forward like this, and then pulling back, and then again this quad pulling forward. So pull back, pull forward, pull like that, and then again like hands can be on the hips, just not like supported like this, and as upright as we can be while we're in here, and then like big like glute kind of flexion and that kind of stuff as we're doing this. Do the first one for sure with no weights, and then just depending on survivability, you can like add weights with this. It can be a single weight, or like that you hold in front of you, or suitcase style. I think we could do one weight. If we we're going to do one weight, I would put it on the working legs of the forward leg with this one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, let's get some music going first. Maybe that's not gonna work. Okay, and then a timer here. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, down to the bottom. Oh, this song's terrible. Okay, ready and switch legs. Okay, and rest. Okay, so if that was really easy for you, definitely you can like add weight, but we've got five more of those. If it was really hard, then just survive it out. You can definitely use something to support yourself as well to make it a little bit easier. But I think body weight is fair. The cool thing about these is even though they're really hard, is that they don't really leave you sore because it's not a big range of motion movement. So there's flexion, but it's just doesn't. So even though they might be tiring in the moment, there's no like hangover from this really. So
Our back knee's not supposed to touch the ground, right?
no, leave it off the ground. Leave it off the ground. Yeah, that's why I kind of set a longer stride to kind of keep that back leg up here. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and down into position. Yeah, normally for the split squat, I'm just more particular about the front leg. In this case, the back leg gets drawn back a little bit further just to make sure that it's going to be like up off the ground.
It's my back quad that's killing me, not my front leg.
And switch over. That's okay too. We have to deal with what it is. When I was younger, I used to tell people in social situations that didn't know me that I was a studio whistler as a job. 3, 2, 1, relax. And there's always inevitably some sort of song that features whistling on the radio. I'd be like, yeah, I was a part of that. And if you're ever at like a bar or something, they can't call you on it because it's like, you can't hear anything anyways. If you want to lose 45 minutes of your life, there's a YouTube documentary on these guys that do competitive whistling. 3, 2, 1. All right, next set. Like you won't ever get that time back.
I thought about learning to yodel before. That would be even worse. But I think it would be a good challenge.
I kind of really enjoy like a documentary about something that's really abstract and specific, like something like that. And switch around. Yeah, some guy traveling to like the World Whistling Championship, and then how serious like people were with it. It was really epic. And rest.
Dave, if you like random documentaries, I think you might like, I saw it at like Hot Docs in Toronto a few years ago, and it's about like the seniors world ping pong championships.
Okay, amazing.
It's so good. Like,
yeah.
These people are so hardcore about ping pong and they're so old. It's
yeah.
like, it's amazing. It's so
yeah.
good.
You just have to be really, really into whatever is going on. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's almost like it's like dry comedy that
Yeah.
like, that it's not like, but the people don't know that they're comedians in this act.
Yeah, but it becomes like, it's so fast. It was like, and I had no interest in ping pong whatsoever.
Yeah.
My friend wanted to see it and I was like, this looks terrible. And then it was so good.
3, 2, 1. All right, back at it. Yeah, I think I watched one. I watched a couple. One was like one on this like rock, paper, scissor tournament, and
Really?
that one was like epic. Um, and what's crazy about that is that they have Switch, yeah. That they have like, 1,000 people show up, and like the same like 5 people like win like over and over. Like, so then they're
There really is
determining
some
that
kind
like
of like a
it's not
strategy.
just random chance, that it's like that like there's some sort of innate skill that you can like draw by staring at someone's eyes, or something like that while you're doing it. And then the other and rest. The other one was people doing like really hard, what's the crossword puzzles. So people were like, would time the crossword puzzle and then do it for speed. And then they would like know by like the crossword puzzle author, like what types of clues and like things that they would have. So they'd be like, oh, that's Bill did this one. So then they would have to like change their mindset to like how Bill writes clues. And then they like all like race, like tournament style over that. I think that is like so funny. All right, here we go. 2, 1, go.
It's like if you were literate enough, smart enough to do the New York Times crossword puzzle in ink. That would be something to aspire to.
Oh yeah. These guys are doing the New York Times crossword puzzle in like 4 minutes.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
And
But
Switch?
it'd be like, it takes me like 2 hours on a good day.
Yeah, so that's the kind of cool
All
thing about
week
it,
if
is
it's a
that like
bad
people have a context of it, because they're
day.
like, oh yeah, I've tried that, or whatever. And then they're like, yeah, taking you like the whole day, or whatever,
Yeah,
and like they know that you had to get help, and
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and then these guys are just blasting it out in like 4 minutes. And rest. But it's like anything, it's like a practice and a system, and like, like, so they have systemized ways that they're like looking at solving the problem and all of that stuff too. And go. And switch. And done. Good job, guys.
Oh,
How's that? Not too bad?
Eh,
Terrible?
pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty.
It's yeah, it's definitely a little different, but like I said, as it's fatiguing while you're doing it, there's not really like a big after effect as far as leaving you sore. But it's really good for something like that split squat for like running stride and all of that kind of stuff, and just even like tendon strength and even like working capacity. So there's still like a similar amount of work where if I made you do like 8 or 10 of those split squats and it took 30 seconds, it's really similar work to just like sitting there with like well flexing and contracting too. Okay, so next part, what we're gonna do is 5 rounds or 10 minutes, whatever comes first, of 40 mountain climbers, 20 deadlifts, 10 front raises. For the mountain climbers, I want to kind of focus on doing a bigger stride with these ones. But again, like we can kind of balance that as we're as we're doing that today. I'll jump to the movements here. So mountain climbers, again, jumping and striding like that. Obviously, like we can kind of get the feet like right up to the hands or go all the way out, but I still want to have that emphasis of kind of going into like a, kind of a full plank position as much as we can. Then we've got a deadlift. Again, most of us are working with some sort of improvised object here for the deadlift. So whatever we have, two objects, single object, whatever is going to make sense. Again, for this, it's going to be a light to kind of medium weight as far as what a deadlift is going to be, just in the sense that that it's 20 repetitions. So think of that as like deadlifting cardio, and then from there we have some front raises. And this is the worst video ever of it. So you can assume that my arms are just bringing up parallel to the ground and then back up on this one. And so again, we'll need a relatively lightweight. Again, that could be a single object or two. Two is probably a little bit easier to keep your shoulders like set back and retracted as we're doing that. Does that make sense? Let's grab weights and we'll set up, and then I'm just going to get that clock set as well. We're all set. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and starting off, mountain climbers. Oh, John, we already started. Sorry, I left you behind. Mountain climbers to start, yeah. We'll give you an extra 25 seconds at the end, John. So 5 rounds or 10 minutes, whatever comes first. Taylor, that's the most activity that those lawn chairs will ever see. Good job, guys. Looking good. Nice, guys. Looking good. Awesome work, guys. Looking good. Nice. Five and a half minutes right now. Good job, Taylor. Seven minutes. Good job, Megan. Looking good, guys. Almost there. Eight minutes. Nice, Wendy. Good job. Good job, Jane. You got it. Forty-five more seconds. Thirty seconds. Done, Wendy. Good job. Nice work. And time. Good job, guys. Nice. That was good. I think maybe while we're kind of catching our breath, I'm gonna show you guys a couple things, just more on like the preventative side, but just kind of checking in on the hips and stuff like that. That's one that it's kind of definitely hard to see how all the movements are going and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's something I like to kind of check in on with, especially as we're doing some of the running and things like that, where we're like starting to accumulate volume, you want to think about the hips. So the first thing that I think about is just like hip height, left and right. So generally when I like test someone on this, I just have them like walk towards me and then like taking like 3 or 4 steps and then stop with the feet at shoulder width, and then from there I kind of like see where the hip height is. So so it'd be like walking forward, and then from there feeling where like the top of that like hip bone is. And so what happens with that is that basically sometimes we get like one high and one low. So let's start by just maybe kind of doing that on ourselves and just seeing if we have any noticeable difference. Sometimes you kind of have to do this in a mirror to really notice the difference, but just kind of taking a few steps forward, stopping with the feet at like shoulder width apart, and then from there, that kind of gives you like a pretty natural resting position. And then if you use your thumbs and then kind of level your hands, you'll usually be able to see. But again, sometimes if it's pretty close, then it can be more noticeable if you look in a mirror or something like that. So that's my first, is like just kind of assessing whether that's, you know, out or not. If we're seeing a differentiation of one being up or down or that kind of thing, then we can kind of look at giving the hip something that we can like readjust it back in place. And so there's no specific harm in doing this if the hips are even. You're just not going to really feel a big effect. But basically when the hips are out, I'll see if you guys can see. All right. When the hips are out, basically there's going to be a low side and a high side with that. And so with that, the low side is rotated forward and the high side is rotated back, or the other way around. I'm trying to remember, but basically that's kind of creating some of that like depth, and that traction kind of creates pressure on the low back. So what we're going to do with that is basically, can you see, is that too bright? Is basically take, and we'll say that this side is going to be my low side. I'm going to keep this knee bent, and then from here I'm going to reach out and then extend the leg if I have enough room, and then pull back, and then it's going to go out, extend, and back. And as we do this, I'm going to do it 10 times. Now, if this is the low side, I'm going to, after I do that, I'm going to do the same thing, except going in the same direction, inwards. So both going to the low side. And you're going to feel some like clicking in the back and that kind of stuff. So what we'll do is let's try 10 and 10. If were you guys able to identify like a lower side? Most people are going to be like a little bit out with that. If you're not sure, try that first drill going left and right, and then if there's more clicking in one direction, then that's your low side. Give it a shot, and we'll go 10, 10, and then use the other leg and do 10.
I don't hear any clicking, but it feels kind of good.
Yeah, it might just feel like stretch into the low back as well. That's okay. Again, like not everyone's going to be like out, but this just is like a good little like check in on how things are moving and that kind of stuff. So once we've done 10 of those, one of the next things I like to do is is kind of another one of the hip resets, and this one's like a little bit more hamstring driven. And so basically we use like a glute bridge, and then from there with that glute bridge, we're gonna raise the leg up. And again, I'll try to give you guys as much. So I would go to a glute bridge like this, and then from there extend the leg, and then go up. And I'm only going up as far as this leg can go straight. Come back down, switch sides, and then doing that. And what I would do is about 5 alternating reps with this. Now, when we do this, it's really important that we don't overstretch the leg, and it's really important that we sit in the glute bridge, extend the leg, and then raise it up to as far as we can while keeping it straight. And basically what that's going to do is kind of reset those hamstrings. So if one hamstring is really tight and the other hamstring is really loose, then or looser than the other one, then that's going to make a difference to like the sensory input. And so by doing a drill like this, going left and right, and then standing from there, you should definitely kind of feel a bit of a difference with that. Good.
I like how you can just see feet in everybody's.
Oh yeah. This is like the worst footage. You guys are just terrible. I believe that you guys are doing it. It's not. I don't think you guys are just doing this.
Yeah. You got them.
Okay, so let's take, and we've done like 2 little things here, which are both pretty quick. Maybe just stand up and do like 1 or 2 squats and just see if that feels any different than normal after doing kind of like a little bit of a hip reset. Better, worse, same? Same? Better? Taylor, better, worse, same?
Ready to drop it like it's hot. Ready to drop it like it's hot when those ones come back.
Yeah. How's that feel for you, Wendy?
Good, better.
Better, yeah. John?
I think better.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, you know, like if you're, you know, your back's out, your hips out a little bit, there's definitely like lots that you can kind of do on your own. And if it is one where you notice like a significant change as we did something like that, then that would be a good thing to check in on, definitely before like running some mileage. But even like checking, doing something like this before you go to bed would allow a little bit of decompression on the back, and might be, you know, part of a long-term solution for kind of like balancing the hips out and that kind of stuff. And we've definitely been doing lots of single leg work, and that single leg work, I'm sure, you know, some of you guys notice a stronger leg versus like a weaker leg. And that's kind of an indicator of that too, when you notice that there's like an imbalance that way. There's definitely going to be a hip imbalance that kind of pairs with that. But anyways, I just thought we'd kind of give that a try and check in and see how everyone's doing. And that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Awesome job on the workout. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve.
Thank you.
we'll see
Bye,
you guys tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Thank you.